on the way home from Savannah, and I wanted to do a run and test of what the millimeter wave strength was running. I just passed through on I-16 past the Dean Forest exit, and it was running around 67 to 68. What I have found is by moving my phone and actually touching my body with it, it typically drops. Sorry, I know you can't see my face. It typically drops by about 3 to 4 points, which to me seems to indicate that we are drawing it. It basically, just like positive and negative will connect to each other. They draw to each other. So right now, and there could be some interference from my truck. It is a 2020, and I don't know what all kind of electro gadgets in it might be putting off some frequency. But right now, things have dropped down by about 10 points, and I want you to watch and see the number drop as I put the phone to my body. So right now we're running 59. Oh, it's really dropping. So it has literally dropped at over 10 points. Okay, sorry, yeah, it was like, I didn't want to show you at my booger holes, so I didn't make it so you could see. I am about to come up on another tower, and looks to be about half a mile on I-16, running a little bit more than the speed limit. Shouldn't take just a few more seconds. Let's see if we get a change in readings. Getting closer to it. Closer to it still. And what I'm finding, guys, is we are still not even in the 5G plus range. That's the biggest, that's the most dangerous range. All right, I'm passing the tower now, and it seems to not be affecting. However, this is a taller tower. Oh boy, we have a wreck on the other side, or a little shenanigan of shaboo-boo, something. Sorry. Oh, wow, I saw the number jump up. Anyway, when I was passing under I-95, I did notice that the strength dropped, like, significantly to like 35 or something. But it was only when I went under the bridge, and it was right back up. And the further I get out of Savannah, the more the number seems to drop. And I realize there's probably a margin of error with whatever ohmmeter exists in these cell phones for variable transparency information. This is a Galaxy S10e, and yes, I am on the bumpy part of the interstate. So something I want to mention with regards to the 5G, they may even have, they may have towers up near you, but they may not be live yet. I have been directly up to a tower, and it has not changed the readings on this ohmmeter at all. But it could mean that tower had not yet been put active. Another possibility is the fact that these towers are way above me, and the antennas, receivers, transponders, whatever you want to call them, they're on these antennas. I would have to kind of be in a direct line where they could tower down, or in the path between a tower signal and someone who has a 5G phone. These towers, they are direct energy. They are like a single beam, and they direct to 5G signal phones. Now, what makes this even more interesting is it makes 5G phones essentially another antenna. And it is through the multiple use of 5G phones that we get the smart grid. So if you've heard of the smart grid, that's what it is. It's not just tower to tower, which you're going to wind up being every block, and maybe multiple ones per block, which means you're not only going to have lower towers, so it bringing that strength and power closer to the earth level or human level, but you're also going to have multiple antennas, transponders, whatever you want to call them, aiming at each 5G phone. So if you are within, but these are kind of short range, like they don't go very far, which is why they're putting so many up. But if you happen to be in the middle and within range of 5 different of these receivers or transponders, then all 5 of those are going to be shooting a direct beam at your phone. So you are getting not only 60 gigahertz versus the 5 gigahertz, which is the top of the Wi-Fi at home, the router range, but you're getting it from 5 different places. And if you are in the middle, if you happen to not have a 5G phone, or you're just a bystander, and you happen to be in between these antennas and somebody with a 5G phone, you're getting hit. So I would love to invest in a large scope EMF, millimeter wave, frequency, pulse, power, strength, all the different components that are significant parts of 5G, all causing their own separate little problems. But right now, what you need to understand is they're not using the upper bands. The upper bands have not been reserved through the FCC by any of these telecom companies. So, or they're not, so that's what they're telling us. So what is getting pumped out now is not a whole lot stronger than what we're getting from 4G, which is still an issue. The long-term, side effects of this are, well, they're unquantifiable, to be honest, especially because everybody's genetics are different and how their body will process them, or how much grounding they're doing. There's several different variables that will affect the effect that these towers have on you. So, as I said, right now they're using the same bands that they have been using for 4G, and it's just a little bit stronger. Where the biggest fear is, and rightfully so, with multiple components of things to be considered, are when they start using these upper range bands, and on those bands we'll be looking at much higher. We're probably looking up to 80 gigahertz and on up to 90. The average, I think they're saying, is going to be around 65. I think that's them trying to sound better than what it actually is, because we always get the truth, right? So there's that to be considered. And then if you look at, once they unfold or go live using the upper bands and the stronger millimeter waves, then and increased time where people have 5G phones, the smart grid gets tighter and tighter, and the gaps in it are smaller and smaller. That's kind of about when they're going to hit the Internet of Things, just the weirdest name, but IoT. If you see IoT, that's what that is, and they've already implemented this in China. So if you've watched the old movie 1984, if you've watched the current movie on Netflix called The Circle, these are all going to give you examples of what we're going to be facing. So I have noticed on I-16 fairly recently, there are suddenly cameras up all up and down it, like in my face cameras. It's not like they've been there and I just noticed. I promise, I'm very observant. And, you know, they'll call them tag readers or whatever they want, but I guarantee you, and so I would love for somebody to do some more digging on that, but that's not one of my top priorities to find out. But let's see. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but here's a camera. I'm not sure if it's pointing, but there are some all over, up and down the interstate. Of course, there's less and less the farther away from Savannah I get, the closer I get to home. So, what the Internet of Things is going to be providing is just this new age technology where we won't have to carry any money, we won't have to carry anything. It'll be facial recognition, and now that they have the mask mandate, they'll be able to tell people with their masks on. They'll still be able to identify you. They're probably going to wind up trying to go to a credit score type of life. And if you search YouTube, I'm sure you can find different explanations of this in place in China right now. They have a credit score, and with the points in their credit score, they can get a bottle of water out of the vending machine. If they happen to jaywalk, it's going to dock their credit score. You can use points on your credit score to get on a train, to take the train or the metro or whatever, anywhere you want to go. If you have any party foul, they're going to dock your score. And there are things that you're not going to be able to do if your score is not sufficient. But they're going to know your every move and be able to locate you at any given second. They have the drones, the little local drones. They fly all around. They have the little cameras all over the place in China. Like, seriously, guys, look this up on YouTube and see how bad this is. You will not move an inch without being known. Forget bathroom privacy. I mean, it's all out the door, because your phone as well, even when it's off, it's seeing out of both the front and back cameras. And especially all of them, when you get one of these new phones that have like 20 cameras on the front, 20 on the back. You know, I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. So there's that. And then I was fixing to throw in another point, but it has escaped my mind as I was trying to navigate traffic. Yes, I know I shouldn't be doing this while I'm driving. So let's just pretend I'm not, and I'm just otherwise distracted. But those are all things that you're going to have to worry about. Oh, sound too. Even when your phone is off. Airplane mode, off, any of that. It can still hear everything. The only way that you can stop that is get something like a Faraday cage. It basically is like a metal box to some extent. And if you put your phone in that, then it can't. It can't see, hear, pick up anything. Of course, you can't get calls or texts or anything like that. And you certainly can't use your phone when it's in a metal box or a Faraday cage. But that's really our only way to get out of it. But this Internet of Things, it'll be such a dynamic smart grid that everywhere they're going to know what you're doing, what you're saying, what your opinion. They'll quickly peg you into a desirable group or a not desirable group, and that could really be to your detriment, depending on, you know, how much deeper the shit gets. So as you see now, that score has been staying around 53, probably halfway home, which would put me probably 15 to 20 miles out of Savannah. But I've noticed at home, the score runs around 45. Now, I have walked up to my wireless router, and my score is unchanged. So there are definitely some variables that are unknown to me that cause these jumps in the score. I did go up to my smart meter, you know, my utility meter that they find out how many kilowatts I've used each month for my electricity. and it sends this thing off the chart. I'm talking like 700. And that's like insane. But 1 foot away, and it drops down significantly. Same thing, microwave, refrigerator, all those things, even when they're not running. Well, I should say the microwave, when it's not running, still gives a very high reading. Not like the smart meter, but still very high. 1 foot of distance makes a significant difference. So when you're using the microwave, just, if nothing else, get back a couple feet. 3 feet I would be my best recommendation at minimum. But guys, these are all things that I don't think people realize. Right now they're thinking 5G is not that bad and it's working, but it's not on the full spectrum. It's not on the upper bands. It's not the full strengths that they're going to be putting out. And y'all, I also understand that 5G and all the different aspects of it are confusing. And for me, it's kind of hard to organize, to explain. It's like I get it, but organizing that to explain it to you guys is much more of a feat for me to tackle. I will say that the experts, and I wish this woman's name was in my head, she's in my playlist under 5G, I think all the way at the bottom of the list. She's wearing a red shirt, she's got poofy hair. The first 13 minutes of that video are technical difficulties, so you could start at minute 13, but this woman is brilliant, and this is straight up science that she's giving you. But what she explains is the biggest danger is the pulse. And I'm going to, since this video is already too long for anybody's liking, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to explain the pulse the best I can in like a layman's term in my next video, which I'm probably going to do right now when I end this one. But this way you know what you're getting on that one. It should be a lot shorter, I hope. Okay, guys, if you have any comments or questions or anything that you want me to address or explain, let me know in the comments below. And what I have the most interest in, I will try to bring you more videos or a video explaining it in the most layman of terms that I can. So guys, keep your heads up, keep your prayers going, stand up for what you believe in. Just came out of Whole Foods in Savannah, and about got ran down as I came in the door with a mask. Told him I don't wear a mask. That one left me alone. Did my shopping, got over to the deli side, and 2 guys approached me and wanted to know where my mask was, and I said I do not wear a mask. And he said, well, we need to give you one. I said I don't wear a mask. And he kept on. So I said I can't wear a mask. And he asked me why. I told him, I said, you don't get to ask me that. And he still stood there like he was waiting for an answer. Guys, if you will stand up and not back down, they'll back off. But we've all got to do it. And I've not had, nobody's badgered me like they did there, anywhere else in Statesboro or Savannah. So, I mean, I do have like 8 different medical conditions. Not that that's any of anybody's business. But, you know, so I'm not lying, but I'm not going to wear one anyway. So, if you have any more questions, comments, issues, topics that you want me to address, drop them in the comments below, and I will do that next, the ones that are giving the most interest. So I'm blubbering now. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.